Good morning, everybody. My name is Patti Atlee, and I am a member of All Saints Church. And so welcome to a little bit of Christmas. Please feel free to ask me any questions if you would like. I'm going to do some basic info first. I don't know if you can tell this, but this has little tiny holes in it, oasis. And that's the best kind to get. It doesn't have the holes on the other side. Most oasis come just like this on both sides. But if you see any with little holes, get that. It's very good. It's you fill it with water and you put the holes up, not down, and then it will sink as it goes. But why this is good is that it eliminates about 99% of air bubbles. And air bubbles in oasis is only important when you do a design with real flowers, live flowers, is that if you have air bubbles, that piece of dry oasis will not soak in and it does not feed the flowers. And in an arrangement, you may say, well, why is that flower dying? It's because there's an air bubble. So the ones with the hole is the best to get. That's one. Two different kinds of containers, actually three. One is over there, but I'll show you later. Okay, I am using this one today because I knew I was going to do a hurricane, and it is longer, but it's wider. And so I just did that whole oasis, and then I slimmed down just the corners, very thin corners, and I just pushed it in. So that's the difference. And when the camera's behind me, you'll see the long oasis, because I left one whole section for me to do for you to watch. And I'll go into that later. The other kind of bowl is this one. And most of the arrangements you get is from a florist or greenery is this kind. It's called an oval bowl. And you can go around, as I did in an arrangement, or you can go out. The bowl, the container makes no difference. If you put long stems of greenery out and do it rectangular, just the way I'm doing here, it's just as easy in this little bowl as it is in this bowl. Okay. The other thing is, if you want candles in a centerpiece, these are called handy Andes because they're just that. They sit inside the oasis, and you put tapers in this, and you can put 2 or 3 or 1, whatever you want. So those are the things I want to talk to you about. Plus, ladies, if you want a very good Christmas present from your husband or a stocking stuffer, I got this at Wentworth. It's about, I think it was $9.99, $10.99. I have broken the leather strap that slides onto it. But this stays in my car all the time because I can go by the side of the road and clip bittersweet or whatever. But it is excellent to do stems and other things. But it is just a very easy, very inexpensive, but a very good clipper. This is my Japanese one. I'll use that. Okay, let me see if there's anything else you need to know. Oh, when I do an arrangement, a centerpiece arrangement, at Christmas, I don't use one kind of greenery. I use 3 or 4. I have, let me see, where do I have? I have a Magnolia Leaf here, and let me show you how to do that real quick while I have time. When I'm doing this, I'll just do it. So you take the leaf, you cut it at the very beginning of the attachment to the main stem of the flower or the bud of the magnolia. So you do that. So it's at a diagonal, and everything you cut is diagonal because that allows that water from the oasis to feed it. Then you're coming up right with the main stem here, and then you're just going around. So you're really kind of doing, like the old time, I did higher than I wanted to. Pin and ink, what is that called? When they use the feathers, quill. Okay, now this gives you 1.5 inches. See it? And that stands and just slides in. Oh, here's one here, and there's one there. And I use magnolia leaves. I use cedar.
I understand the process there for cutting that leaf, but what's the purpose of doing that?
But it's texture. If you use the same greenery, it's a pretty greenery, but it's all fir, or it's all spruce, or it's all Leland cypress. But if you do this, and if you see it up close, which I will bring it up close, it has all kinds of interest. And one thing I have to tell you about, I've got to get a Kryptomeria tree because it's the best thing ever. But I love it at Christmas because now these pine cones are more open, but usually they're closed and they look like jingle bells. And then when the new growth comes on and the new pine cones, they look like little stars. So at Christmas time, I always put this in a swag, in a centerpiece, or in a wreath, because it just reminds me of Christmas. And you can use every bit of it, you know, and I will be breaking that up.
What's that called again, Patti?
It's a Kryptomeria, and it grows very tall, but it is beautiful, and it always has this. It has big, full, draping leaves. When I went out doing greenery, I was with a friend from the garden club, and she and her husband were up having a good time cutting some Leland cypress for me. And she was cutting, and I said, wait a minute, what are you doing? And she says, I'm cutting this. And I said, well, you don't cut it in the middle of the branch. I don't know if you can see it here. I don't know how to do this. Okay, wait just a minute, we're gonna switch. And I said, whenever you are cutting evergreen or any branches, you see the length you want. Here, I'll show you. So I got this, you see the length you want. So right here, I wanna use this much. So you go and clip it diagonal at the joint for two reasons. It's going to let this branch get more sap and do everything, but the new growth will come back. So you don't kill the branch. Also, nobody knows you took it. And if you went to your neighbors and you didn't tell them, that's how it is. So if it's white pine, if it's evergreen, if it's greenery in your garden, like Akuba, any of that stuff, go down to the base and cut it right at the joint. Good for the plant, good for you. And you'll be able to go back next year. Okay, now I'm switching back. I told you you'd get information today. All right, let me see. It's coming, it's coming. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but the oasis here is all bare. That's this side, and I don't know if you can see that. Can you all see that real well? I mean, it's
yeah, we can see it.
All right. When you do an arrangement, as I started, you do three things. These are your pointers. You go north, south, east, west. And you can use anything. Why can't I think of this? You can use this, you can use pine, you can use spruce, you can use the, I can't think of that. The Kryptomeria, but you put your points in. If you want a long one, I'll show you an arrangement where I did it shorter to go on a table, like a coffee table. And you put one stem here, one stem here, one stem here, and one stem here. They do not have to be the same type of greenery or plant material. So you do that, and then and we're going to show you, I'm going to layer this. But then you start with the first two rows of whatever side you're starting with, and you do the first two rows at a slant. Now, can you see this? This is, you can't really tell. Can you take that off? Let me see it. Okay. Oh, you'll be able to see it then. And you put it at an angle. So it's at an angle this way, but with the ends draping down to cover your container. First two rows. So the first row will be all this way, all across. And then the next one will be up just a smidge and goes over and fills up part of all but maybe 2 inches of the bottom one. And then the next row would be almost even. It has just a little bit of a slant to it. And then the next row is even, and then the next row is a little bit up, and then the other one is straight up. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, all right, and that fills it out. Again, I did this one. I'll show you one where I didn't do it this full because it's just candles, and you don't need all of this, but you need a full base when you have a tall hurricane or candle. All right, now let's see if we can make some magic here. Now, when you are doing evergreen, anything like this, I'm just going to throw this on the floor. You take this and peel this off so you have this much stem exposed, because you need to put that into the oasis all the way up, because it needs 1.5 inches. And when I do a lot of the little heavier, like spruce and stuff, I go in 2 inches because it just needs that moisture.
Patty, is that
Yes.
is that candle down in the oasis?
No, ma'am. It is standing right on top of the oasis. Now, here's the difference. Because I've got pine and everything that's up around it, you're not going to see the center. If I had cedar and other things laying flat, I would have used Japanese Akuba, these little things, and broke them, and, you know, just the buds off, you know, obviously 1.5 inches longer, or boxwood to cover up the greenery, because that's why we do all the things in layers where the first 2 are down, to cover your mechanics. When you're doing any design, you do not want your oasis to show. So I would have put boxwood or the Japanese Akuba, anything that's small. Oh, and then the other good thing is cedar. See, I know I had cedar here somewhere. Got golden thread. Where is this cute cedar? Oh, here it is. And it's flat. Can you see it here? And it's short because they have woody stems. Just cut that and then stick it in, and it just shows this much, which looks very, very pretty. But see, I have white pine, and then when I get this up closer to you, it's very wispy, and I've used golden thread, so it looks very natural, and it covers the oasis and everything. Yes, cedar is flat, and it's a great building tool. As I said, it's also a great filler, if you will, and where you can stick that in, it's flat. That's in a tree or it's in a bush. The Akuba, which is smaller leaves, if you can see that.
Yeah.
And it still has that gold dust look and everything as a normal Akuba. We see one at church, you know, there's several at church, but these are fillers also. And then also adds rhythm, you don't need to know all that, and density and texture. But I got this from a friend that lives up by Mary Jo, and her whole front porch is nothing but these shrubs, and it's incredible, and it's great for any Christmas, for swags, for wreaths, for anything. And so
Hey,
now
Pat.
I picked for Christmas, I want a winterberry, I want Japanese Akuba, and I want this if I can remember the name.
Patty,
Okay.
Patty,
What,
is it a U?
That's
Why-
it. You bless your heart. 5 points to Cheryl. It is in you, Annie. I love it. It's just one of my favorite. It smells good. It's easy to work with. It's just wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, because yesterday I called up and said, hey, can I come trim your you? And she said, oh, my husband's going to love you. So, so anyway, that's that. Okay, let me find. This is what's fun, is digging. When we do this in the garden club and everything, all the floor is just full. We have piles everywhere, and then of course we cut it, and then it's a mess. But and part of my thing is I work and then I clean up the kitchen, which takes almost as much time. So because I've already told him I'm doing this, I'm just throwing it on the floor. Okay, here's the next row of the next item on the first row. So let me do this, and we'll fill this up real quick, and we're on to the next project, but I'll show you some other stuff. Now, this cedar, and this is a shrub, this one particularly, and I cut it at an angle, I cut it deep enough, and it's going right here. Again, and now can you see how that's filling up?
Yes.
All right, and now here's my Kryptomeria, which I love, 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 love. And again, it's easy to cut it any length you want, and it's got a sturdy stem, so you can go as high as you want. And this is, and again, just tear off these little extras to give you your room. And it's going up. It's going up on my second level because I wanted a little long to drape over. And let me see. Here's some Leland. Leland cypress is another favorite I get when I'm at church. We usually don't have a lot of the fir when we're doing the windows. And Leland cypress comes in long stems, I mean long pieces, and you can just take that and decide on your dimensions using Leland. And I love it because it lasts for a long time. Now this centerpiece, if I put ice on it and then put it outside, like on the screen porch sometime when I know it's going to be cold, will last me up until February. And my boxwood trees will do the same thing. If you just have to put ice at the top and then let it run down, and then every 3 days, I make sure I take it to the sink and fill water in the container till I can put my finger in it and I can feel the water. And most of these things will last. If they don't last, it's because, you know, they haven't had enough water and moisture. Okay, now we're going to our third row. And let me see, I think I want.
Patty,
Yes.
do you prep those at all like you did with the flowers? Do you put them in water for a day first? Or
Not always. I didn't last night because I was collecting them all day yesterday due to a full schedule the day before. I try to get my greenery at least a day and a half, but no, you do not have to prep them as long as you keep them wet. But
as long as you keep them wet. Okay.
Right.
You don't have to worry about bugs or anything?
no, I haven't had any in an arrangement or anything, but usually by the time you get it and you're shaking them around, they're in a garbage bag, they probably will just run for safety as soon as you let them out. Also, the other thing is golden thread. Now, this is a bush and it can get very yellow. This is a little variegated a bit, and it's another one. It's flat, beautiful bush, and it has like little thread-like things on the end. And it's, again, one of my favorites. And I'm almost done. I think about 2 or 3 of these. I'll just do it. And I like this because it's wispy and it moves. And it really gives you some texture, but it gives you interest because the colors are different. And that's the other thing. Changing your evergreens changes your color, and it just looks pretty. I thought I had some pine here from John's.
Patty,
Yes, hon.
how much space is there between the rows of greenery that you're putting in?
Oh,
Like,
minimal. Maybe I don't know, maybe less than a half an inch.
Okay, so that close.
Yes, because what you're doing technically is layering. You're just
Right.
going up, but you just want to make sure that you are doing it at the angle until you get up almost to the top, and then we're going to start going up.
Okay, thank you.
We are on one side, ready to do. Now, white pine is this, and it's another nice one. Now, some white pine, and I won't here, but if I wanted to do it at the top, you can give it a haircut. So you can just go like this and do it shorter if it's too long, meaning too high. And that's easy. So I'm putting that right next to that. Again, it's frou-frou and it's coming down. And I do wish I had pine. I don't know, because this is killing me. I like the here's some, not pine, but evergreen. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let me go up. I'm going up now. Now I'm coming out almost at me, straight at me. And then and once you start that, you're almost done. Now, when I first learned to do this, we did north, south, east, west, as I was telling you. And then we did it, the 2 layers all the way around. And then we just went all the way around. Now that's good for you to learn so you keep within your borders that you have set up already. But you're going all the way around. The more you do this, I do one side at a time. I'll just go ahead and do one whole side. I just then go to do both of the ends, and then I finish up on the last side, which is what I'm doing here, because mainly it takes too long if you're going with me to do that, and I don't want you to be bored to death. Because if you were working with me, I would really do step by step, because then you'd see everything I'm doing and you'd be able to do it yourself. But you will be able to do this, bless your little hearts, all by yourself the next time, because I've shown you enough and told you enough of the direction of method of doing it. And the next time you get an arrangement at the florist or something, look and see, they do not put a lot of stuff in there because it's expensive. But they don't have a neighbors to call on and say, you know, I need to go do this. But it does make a difference to do it full. Okay, now I'm starting to come up now. And I will use, I think white pine first. And I'll do it on this side. And just cut it where it's just 1.5 inches of what you want. And again, diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. Now, can you see how it's wispy? And you're starting to fill in. And
Yep, looks good.
Kate, I want to see this, Susan and Marianne. There you go. Now you're starting to see how it's filling out. And now I'm getting ready to go around and do that. Oh, and I'm going to use a little bit of Susan's Andina. See, this is very pretty and it's very nice. It's a different leaf shape. That's the other thing you want to get, is different leaf shapes, not all pointed and not all round. And it adds, it's a great filler, but it's pretty and it makes it interesting and pretty. You can't see it as much now because once I bring it up close to you, you'll be able to see it. I could put a magnolia leaf right here, and I think I will, because I like the shiny and with the dull and the wispy. And I can't tell you how many years we did this. I think I was with Vicky Trago, and we were at the Penwick house. And she said, okay, we need to put some magnolias or something in here. And then she looked at me, who had been working with her maybe 2 weeks. And she says, Patty, figure out how to do that. It'll stick in there and I can pick it up, travel with it, and it will not drop out. So it's always fun to have challenges, especially if you think you can get fired at the same time. Okay, we're almost gotten done here. Okay, one other thing here, and maybe another Kryptomeria and white, and we're done. So last night I was doing this at late, and I had on my tape, my book on tape, and we were just working away. It was just fun. And I thought, wow, I'm actually getting to listen to a book on tape. It was great. Okay. John, I love this evergreen. We have cedar in our house and cottonwoods and stuff, and our cedar is prickly, prickly, prickly. So it's something I don't use. And back to you, my other favorites. Gosh, I think it's going to take as long to clean up as it did to do the arrangement. Oh, and the other thing is you can turn them backwards and let their underside show, because that's very, very interesting. And you has little seed-like things on the back part, and that's also of interest if you're paying attention and want to do that. And I found that sometimes when I'm making swags or doing a wreath and it just isn't working well, I find out if I turn it over, it works out really well. So Mother Nature knew exactly what she was talking about when she made all these things so unusual. Okay. Okay, my husband is telling me that I'm almost half done. So I'm going to hurry up and do this very quickly. Just stick it in. I'm not going to worry about it. And that way we can go on to other stuff, because I don't want you to. Although I guess this is what we were doing, was to teach everybody how to do an arrangement. So I guess it'll work.
Patty,
Yes.
if you didn't have the hurricane lamp there, would you just continue doing that all the way across?
Well, yes, I do. I have gone all the way across. That's the other thing I want to tell you. If you are going to do a hurricane, take your hurricane shield without your candle and make a mark on your oasis. You know, just push it down and turn it, because then you have the line and you don't go beyond that. I just put it in last night because I knew I'd be filling it out and I didn't want to have to go get it and, you know, do it. But yes, I am continuing, because here's the difference. This oasis goes from in, and on one side, it's a little bit over on the greenery, so it supports it. So you go straight across. And I'll show you here in a minute.
Patty, that is so pretty.
Thank you, young lady.
The way it's coming together, it's lovely.
And I think, and it's mainly, I feel it's because I put lots of greenery in it. I think it really makes a difference. And
Looks
if you
like
go,
they're all growing.
yes, and now you're going up. See, I've been doing my ups, except I have a stem here that I can't do.
So pretty.
Okay, I think I want one more white pine, and then I'll clear this off and we'll call it a day. This is a little long for what I want, because it'd be up here, way too long. So give her or he a haircut. Just cut it. And that way you don't care if there's one or two longer, because it's just a wispy thing. And then of course you shed the ends here. Of course you can't see it unless I'm sitting down. That doesn't happen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're done. At least we're going to call it done.
Lovely. Very, very nice.
And I think that, okay. And there it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I like
Gorgeous.
the fact that you have it on a turntable, so when you're working on it.
A Lazy Susan, if you have one or can find it in a thrift shop, is absolutely incredible. It really, it helps you, because then you're not turning and looking, or as I do sometimes, stand and look over. So yes, I would recommend that to everybody. Here is one I did last night, and it's small, and it's one candle. I guess you should see it this way. And it sits on a coffee table. Can you see that? It's got little gold balls and red ribbons and multicolor holly.
Oh, lovely.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
remember I said, if you're doing something flat and small, you do not need to come up with your arrangement. I have got one long branch here and one long branch here, and then I put some fillers here, short. Here's your cedar, and did this, and I just did that with some magnolia leaves. I put a few gold balls, and this is a silvery gray ribbon. You can't see it on the thing, but it is gorgeous. I mean, I looked at that and I had to buy it, and I said, I'm using it. So I put one bow facing one direction, the other bow facing the other one. Let me show you. And then I put some pine cones in, but see, it's mostly just greenery. But again, because it's small, I did flat. I didn't do big and bushy. Okay.
Beautiful.
And as I told
Patty,
you, that may be,
did you use the handy Andes for the tapers?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mhm. Now, when you have a full one lot like this, if I want to do this, I have one that's this big around, the shape of a pillar, and it has the point in it, just like this one, except it's a lot larger, and it's about this big around for a pillar, and you just stick that in the oasis, and that means I can travel with it or do anything, or if it can happen. Okay, those are the arrangements. Here is the wreath I did. Can you see that?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
lovely.
Now, I went to my Christmas box and I got ribbon that I'd had probably from last year. And I made a bow, and then I got some of these balls that I had, and I turned them upside down and in, and right over here, I put it with the top of it going out, because it sort of looks like a bell. And then the wreath came with, not with these and not with this one, with some pine cones and some greenery. And I got that from a friend of mine, because she said, Patty, I'm going to Safeway or Wentworth or somewhere. And she went and bought it, but it must be Safeway because it was like $10 or $9.95 or something. And then I did my bow, and then I just kind of hid things in it. And then it was late last night, guys. I'm still not sure I like this, but I thought, why not? It's different. So that's the wreath.
How do you get the Christmas balls to stay on, Patty?
Glue it, hot glue it.
Oh, hot glue. Okay.
Well, cool glue, yes, cool thing. Now I also have some stickum little balls that I sometimes move in my hand, so it comes in a little sheet, and then you peel those off and do that, and I can stick that on a ribbon. But when it's going to be on a door and it's opening and closing and everything, I like to make sure it's stuck. The other thing I didn't show you about that everybody should have is a pick. Now you can get this at Walmart, anywhere. I would say Walmart or the dollar store. I didn't hear, but I could for my evergreen, is you have a wire attached to a stick. You wrap the wire, whatever you wish to do, around and around and around, and then you have your stick and you stick it in the oasis. Sometimes this is too long, just cut it at an angle for the length you need. If you only have, 3 inches of an oasis or of a wreath is less than that, then you'd cut it short. But that's what I did with that, because I'm going to show you how to do a swag. And John, this is where you had the most perfect piece of evergreen. Really, really beautiful. And I got that, and then I got the U. And in this, I haven't wired this. I'm going to hope to have enough time to do this. This is evergreen, and I don't know what one that is. It's not the one I wanted, but I cut it up without thinking. I moved the pieces I was going to use for the swag, and I said, oh, that's another nice piece. So I just took that. And then at 2 in the morning or 3 or 2 in the morning, I went out and I said, where's my swag? And I'm looking everywhere, and I'm taking every piece of greenery, everything, trying to find a bottom base. For a swag, you need fir or spruce or some solid kind of stiff evergreen. Then I put the U, and see, I turned the U over. See how it's shiny on this one? It's not shiny here. Then I've got magnolia. Here, I'll do it. Magnolia branch, and I liked it, and I cut a little space in here because I knew what I wanted to do. I put it here, And then I Kryptomeria, but see, I have my jingle bells and things on that. Can you see? I'm sorry, I keep looking at the computer. Okay, now I thought if I did this to do some interest, I wanted to put it here, put it under the magnolia, over the magnolia, and around the magnolia here. So when it is hanging up, you have a lot of interest. You have all your layers and your colors. I'm going to show you how to make a bow. I do bows 3 different ways depending on how, oh, and then I'm going to put the bow in, and then I'm going to put the Nandina berries. So you'll see it here because I wanted the contrast of color. And it'll go right down here. Right in there. So
you pulled all those together with a piece of wire?
Well, yes, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to wire the first 2, the bottom 2, then the middle, and then the top. Because when I do a swag, I want someone to be able to do this. And if it all stays together, you wired it enough. Okay, this is going to be the bow for the swag. I'm going to do my 1 bow. If we have time, I'll show you the other 3, because some people can't hold everything and they're with their thumb or their hand. So I have 3 different kinds of bows that people can use and find one that they can use. Sorry, I keep looking down. So this is going to be a swag. So you take the tail, because it's a swag, so you want it to be down, and you come up to the top where you want it to be. Okay, so here is the long piece. I gathered it right up here. I don't know how you can see that. Can you see that? I gathered it and put it in my thumb. I'm going to drop it. And then I'm doing a loop. Now so I'm doing a bigger loop, not a small loop. I gathered it, I pinched it, and I twisted. Now I'm going to twist here at the base where I have it with my thumb. I'm going to twist and bring it up and do it here. Then I've gathered it. I'm going to pull and twist, and see how I've done this. Now I'm coming down, and if I did this maybe on the other camera, it'd be better. You gather, pull, and twist. So now I already have 4 loops, because now I'm coming to the back side of this bow. Does this help? I don't know how to tell you how to. Maybe this bow. Does this help? 7 loops. So I have 4 together right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've got my ribbon back here within my fingers, my index finger and my thumb. I'm going to pull and twist. And then I'm going to come up and come in between the 2 loops on my left, or closest to my left hand. Then I'm going to pull and twist. I've already done it, twist. I just do it automatically now. And then come up underneath. So again, I have 6. But you see the shape of the bow is already there, and I haven't done anything but just twist it. I mean, move it back and forth. The reason I like to do bows this way is because some people do bows on loops, 6 or 7 times or 8 times. And then after they tie it up and do it with a wire, then they have to pull them all apart. Well, now you're making the bow the second time. So I try to do it as quick as I can, because when I was working at Homestead, I'd come home and I'd have to do 100 a night. And when I'm doing it in a row and getting used to it, I can usually do 1 in a minute to a minute and a half. Now that's 7 bows, 7 loops. I think I need 9. So I'm going to come back. Again, I've got it twisted and gathered right here. I'm going to pull, bring it up again, gather, twist, and I need 1 more. And I'm going to put it down here. Okay, and then I'm gathering it again. Gosh, I hate to waste that ribbon. I'm going to put another loop in, and that'll be, there you go, and right up here. And since that's the tall one, again, perfect. Oh, love it when a plan comes together. Okay, there is the bow and the streamers. Now you can see how that's gonna look. And I have to wire it, okay? So it will be able to carry the swag. Now, let me tell you the secret about a bow. It's not necessarily the loop. It's not necessarily how you hold it. You go through the middle, obviously, where you were holding it. The secret to a bow is your tightness in the wire. That is the most important thing of all. You can see bows like now that are there, but they're not setting up and talking to you. They're not perky. So I'm going to switch my fingers here. I'm going to take this. I'm going to twist it once. I'm going to take the wire cutters. I'm going to pull and twist and pull tight. Well, except I just did it. That didn't work.
How big a piece of wire do you use, Patty?
Why? Just because I have them.
Can't see it really.
Yeah, it's about what, Kip? 10 inches? Foot and a half, he said.
A foot and a half.
A
Okay.
whole bunch of them.
Oh, okay. There we go. Thanks.
Mhm. Now, you can use the bundle wire, you know, the wire that comes around cardboard and everything. With my thumbs, this is interesting. And you put 3 or 4, no more than that. Now, do you see how it perks up? It just bounces. Except I didn't cut one in here. Yeah. It just sets up. And that's the secret to any bow, is making sure you have that ribbon tight. And I will tell you, and since I dropped a loop, all I'm going to do is come back through. That's when I switched hands, I guess. Come up, then grab the bottom loop, do the same thing of the other side of the wire. So you can fix it no matter what happens. Okay, and now it's perky, it's sitting up and talking to you. There's a loop in every direction. So if you're standing behind me, this loop is saying hi. Now, another thing, people do diagonals, and I probably should have not done that loop that day. I like to do, let me see if I can use this cut. Market cut, French market cut. And you take, here's your ribbon, you take it like this, so end to end, and then you take it and do it this way. And I like to go up because, and this is probably chewing it. See where it's a fork? I like that much better usually, and I'll go back with another scissors and go up high. I like a high cut because when it's a swag, it blows in the breeze, and it's a lot more interesting with a fork in it.
Oh, yeah.
With an angle. And so I very rarely will do a diagonal because I just think it's perky and it has more personality with that. And especially if it's on anything that's going to hit the air, it's just more interesting and it's just attractive. And I'll see if I can do this one. And I have to sharpen these scissors because I'm tearing up this brick. Okay. Okay, see, it's higher. That's how I like it. So you see, it's a bunch there. For my arrangement here, I got some white pine cones. For this one, I'm going to put a pine cone in it. I don't know if you can see that. And one over here, not eyes. Don't ever put anything equal. Put one further, one like that. And then one over here. Now for a centerpiece, using up a little time here, you can use Nandina berries with this because it's a bright orange, and put that in 3 of those or 5 of those. You can use red balls depending on how your house is. You can put holly, and with holly, since it's green, turn it over so the berries show and the duller part of the leaf shows like that. And just, you could stick that in there. You can put balls in there. Red balls here. I probably should do it here. How's that? Always do it in uneven numbers, 5, 7, 9. Makes the difference on the arrangement. But since I'm just going to put it on the mantle, I'm probably just going to leave the pine cones in it. Okay. Okay. All right. Now we've got all the greenery showing. I'll do Kryptomeria through the middle. So it ties it all up. Here's my jingle bells. Woohoo! All right. And I need to probably, honey, can you wire that in for me? Right down there. I want it right touching in between the Kryptomeria and that. You hang it on your door, use a pipe cleaner because it's soft and it's fuzzy. Anything against wood or anything that can scratch it, I use that as a hook. Now, I haven't done this yet because I'll put the bow on it, I'll do it, and then I will do a loop to hang it on a door knob, a door knocker or a hook or whatever. Any other questions while I'm waiting before I put this bow on? I feel like I'm going to be a bride here.
Patty, what did you say about so things wouldn't get scratched?
Oh, I use a pipe cleaner, didn't call that.
Oh, a pipe cleaner.
But it's a fuzzy, and then I put 2 of those together. And to do 2 together in wire or in the pipe cleaners, let me get 2 wires. If I can pull this apart. I think my pipe cleaners are in my little kit that I've hidden up at church. So when I'm there, I can find what I need. Okay, cross the wires. This is pipe cleaner, this is anything. Bring the left over and then take the back around. And so you have like a little loop, okay? And then you continue to do each side around. So you've crossed it over, and then make sure you get this down so it doesn't cut you. It won't cut you, it may prick you. And now this wire can hold 40 pounds or more because it's strong. We've wrapped it. And then I take this and then I take it around the loop I want, depending on where I'm hanging it. I might just want to have it this much if it's on a hook. And then I will wrap it around the, here, I'll do this before I do the bow. Can you just hold this a minute and I'll show them. Okay. So here is the front. I'm going to come around this part here. I'm coming around 1 stem of the bark here and 1 stem underneath here. That's not, is that, yeah. Here. Now, I've got 1 in there. Now, I'm going to come back through another stem here. And then I'm going to take it, pull it tight, twist it 3 times, magic number. I don't know why, but I've always been taught that and I've always done that and they've never come off. I have had people make them. That's okay. People make them at church when we do swags. And now I do, because when we pick them up, they drop. But the secret is putting 2 wires together so you have enough, and then to wrap them around individually your stems from your swag. And sometimes it may be a magnolia, it doesn't have to be big. Okay, I've done 3. I'm going to come up here, do my loop. Now again, I'm crossing over, and then just wrapping it. Now, by doing it a little bigger, I'll show you a trick here. And wrap it. I'm doing it a little fast here, but now the secret to this is if it's too big, and do it always a little bit, you can then twist it to shorten it. So then it can be tighter. So that's it. You can always adjust the length here. And then we can hang it up on the, okay, now. Okay. Now you have your stems and you want some stems up here. So that's your base. And that's where it's going to hang right there. Okay. Now the bow is going right there. Okay, here we go. I can't see it here, but I can do it. I can do it. Okay. Okay. And then you put it up, stick it up, puff it up, and there's your swag. Now, this will cover this. I'll probably cut that. Okay, yeah, I'll carry it. And I'll put one, oh, just drop some mending. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll just put a fold in it. Oh, and I didn't show you how to do the fold for the ribbon. Well, next time I'll show you how to do my other ribbons, and here it is. There you go. How's that?
Gorgeous.
And it can go on a front door or it on here, I've got this swinging over here. On a light post, we have a light post and it works. And it's twisted there. So how's that?
Gorgeous.
But that's how you can do it. You can do it smooth, as I said, sometimes, and it'll flutter and sometimes it'll catch. But I wanted to get the Kryptomeria behind and then there, and you can even put it over here and come in here. It depends on what you want. I usually put it in the middle there. Okay, any questions about that?
So pretty.
Very, very
Very
nice.
pretty.
Guess what? It's time to go. I'll have you come back and visit again sometime.